Hello! Welcome back to Girl with a Head in a Book. So, hope you've all had a lovely week. I've got some more books to tell you about. Now, on the Kindle this week, I finished The Tudor Princess, and now I'm reading The Roundabout Man, which is about a man who lives in a roundabout. And it turns out that when he was a child, his mother was a celebrated author who wrote adventures about him and his triplet sisters. Naturally, like just about every other fictional child whose parents wrote stories about them, he turns out to have lots and lots of issues. I mean, I've just got to the bit where he's telling us about the woman he married, who's basically his mother. Oh dear. One thing. I did get asked this week how I managed to read at the gym. I do this all the time. I think I'm kind of known for that at the gym as the girl who turns up with her Kindle. Never mind. I put my Kindle on the ridge part of the exercise machine, and because I have a Kindle Paperwhite, it's a touch screen. So all I need to do is that to turn the pages. I mean, my dad's one has little buttons there, and I think I'd probably struggle if I had one like that, but it's really easy. Another book I read this week was Havisham. You can probably guess by the title. It was a spin-off from Great Expectations about Miss Havisham, and that was sort of the problem, because Miss Havisham, I mean, she's not a realistic character, you know. There's this whole thing about women who get left at the altar, that means they're going to turn absolutely crazy. I mean, on The Archers, if anyone listens to that, I do, I love it. Kirsty got left at the altar, and she let out this massive scream. And it is this sort of, every woman's worst nightmare. But I think the problem is, it's sort of like the prequel series for Star Wars. You couldn't really ever explain Darth Vader realistically. He was just Darth Vader. And similarly, you can't really explain Miss Havisham. She's just Miss Havisham, wears a wedding dress, has done for years, set the clock for the time when her wedding should have been, left this mouldering wedding feast out for however many years. And this book can't really explain her. There's a lot of, we meet her when she's a child, we see how she grows up, and it's a beautiful piece of writing. It's really well done, it's very dreamlike, and I think that if he wrote anything else, I'd definitely look out for it. But you can't make Miss Havisham seem like a normal human. And there's some things like how, there's some of the rules about wearing a wedding dress and nothing else the rest of your life. I mean, it makes no sense. So he has her order another, like a replicas whenever they wear out. And you think, well, that requires a bit too much sanity. She's a mad woman. She just, she lives in this house and won't let the daylight in and all the rest of it. She doesn't seem like someone who would think that clearly. But anyway, it was, like I say, beautifully written book, but it's just Miss Havisham, she's Dickens's creation, and I think anybody else trying to humanise her, it just doesn't work. Okay. Another book I'm reading this week is My Dear, I Wanted to Tell You. So it's set in World War I, and I thought I'd better get on with it because Goodreads sent me an email to say that they're going to send me out a proof copy of the sequel, so I thought I should get on with it. I'm enjoying it. I mean, any book you ever get set in World War I, they're going to try and compare it to Birdsong, which I actually haven't read. I do want to, but, there's so many books out there. And so far, I don't know, it's been really good, and there's some quite thought-provoking passages, but we'll just have to see what I think of that. I'm trying to have another go at this in French. The thing is, this is the French version of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I bought it because at that point there was no English translation of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I bought it when I was living in France. And the cover kind of interested me because it was Wednesday from the Addams Family, and I really liked the Addams Family, and I thought, let's give it a go. And I managed to read the Da Vinci Code in French really easily, but this is hard. It's really hard, and I don't know if this will actually come out in the camera. I don't know, can you see it's up there? Whenever I found a word that I didn't know, and there were a lot of them, I always looked it up and wrote the English translation beside it. And the thing is, for people who've actually read The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, there's some really violent words in there. I was trying to get the French translations of words for sexual assaults. Not very nice. So I kind of repeatedly gave up on it, but I'm going to have another go. Lastly, because this is getting to be quite a long video, The Love Charm of Bombs. Been wanting to read this for ages. Yeah, I don't really buy hardbacks, like, ever, but this one, I managed to get it for £2. It was actually cheaper than getting the paperback, so I was like, well, yes. You know, I'm a bit obsessed with the 1940s, and this is a book about the various writers in the 1940s writing during the Blitz. I really have only just started it, but I was very, very excited to get a copy. Yeah, I did a module on 1940s fiction in my last term at university. I absolutely loved it. I've still got quite a few of the secondary reading lying around to get through. So that's what I've been doing this week, and what I'm going to be doing over the bank holiday weekend. It actually looks like it might be good weather. Don't want to say it too loud because, you know, the weather clouds will hear. So I hope everybody has a lovely bank holiday weekend, and I will speak to you again soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye.